Hello, we're live now. We're going to have this amazing person named Krista Wagberg on. So hang on, everybody. I'm going to bring her on. Hey, here's Krista right now. So let me invite her to join. Do I just add her as a moderator? Okay, here we go. Cool. I just invited Krista Wagberg. Today we're talking about love, firelight, and essential oils. Hi, Krista.
How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. Grateful to be here.
Yeah, so glad to have you. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So Krista is you're really a polymath. You're a woman of so many talents.
Thank you.
I first met you because I was living in Frisco last year and I needed a haircut.
Hmm.
And somebody said Krista makes boss haircuts. And so I came to you and got really well taken care of. And
Thank you.
little did I know at that time how how many talents and passions you have. And subsequently, over last year, getting to know you more, I was just continually curious and amazed by all the different things you do. And I've had many haircuts with you, and I also had a massage session that involved like a very unique application of essential oils, and
Yes.
we're going to talk about all that stuff. So, if you could tell everybody, first of all, a little bit about yourself, Krista.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Krista Wagberg. I have been in the beauty and wellness space pretty much my whole life. My mom's been in the beauty industry, so the long going joke is that I was born into the industry because I pretty much was. So, with being in the beauty arena, um, I just got to see a lot of different things, hardships that hairdressers and people in the beauty industry go through, being on their feet all day and not doing the self care and being over
Mhm.
caffeinated. So I made the conscious decision to first work on me and hop in the wellness arena because, as we all know, everything starts from within. And when we're not detoxed and healthy within, it shows outward, right? So, blemishes in the skin, maybe losing hair, and being in the beauty industry, seeing a lot of hair loss or just skin inconsistencies, and the common theme of everyone always being tired, right?
Yeah,
Well, now,
and we say that a lot here too. Like,
yeah.
if you want to look good, you need to feel good inside. A lot of that is toxicity. If we're having skin issues, and yeah, maybe you could talk a little bit about hair loss too. We're hearing on that a lot in the last few years. Really, ever since COVID, a lot of people dealing more with hair loss in general. What are you experiencing?
I experienced the same thing. In fact, I was in a Facebook forum about that because hairdressers were freaking out that their clients were losing hair in clumps. And um, the common denominator was the stress of news and media, but also the unknown and the isolation that was briefly thrown onto us, that
Yeah.
we had to be isolate or stagnant, and that causes massive stress. And the unknown of a shot that we didn't know the side effects on, right?
Hmm.
So people that had received that had noticed different effects on the hair and body, skin, all the way around, have then noticed different than those that did not have
Well,
one, right?
and we also saw a lot of people who I have some personal friends I know who uh, just got the wild virus. They just
Oh
got
yeah.
COVID and they experienced hair loss issues
Mm-hmm.
more than one. Some graying of the hair, some thinning of the hair. Uh, really widespread actually.
Yeah, and there were so many different strands that were popping up. So and that's still is happening to this day. So different illnesses are happening. And when there's that imbalance within the immune system and on a cellular level, when your cells are being attacked, that's going to affect your whole body, your
Hmm.
eyesight, your hair loss. Um, a lot of people had loss in taste and smell because it attacked the olfactory nerve, and that sends signals to our limbic system, which then sends signals everywhere on our body. So when that gets jaded or fogged, it was just causing a lot of inconsistencies and overly taxing on the body.
Yeah. So obviously, what can we do? Definitely detox
Uh-huh.
is a big thing, but let's talk about, I know that you have a photon. I know that you use
Yeah.
our FireLight personally and also kind of in your practice.
Yes.
So yeah, tell us a little bit more about like your practice, your expertise, what you're doing with essential oils, and also how you're using the FireLight.
I would love to. I would love to also say the first time I got introduced to the photon light was actually during yoga at our mutual friend's yoga studio, Jenny,
That's
and that was
right.
the
Yeah.
time that I got to experience it. And she had it out, and I was in the front row, and I was just like, yeah, like not only was I sweating more than normal, I just afterwards I just felt amazing. So that was my first intro to it.
Very
And then of
cool.
course knowing you and Mila just all the way around, starting to incorporate it into, or watching how you guys used it, and then just seeing how different people would incorporate it into their lives. So I was like, I need one of those. So with a few things that I do, even in the salon and in my oil layering treatments, within my healing room, that's a specific layering of oils on the spine and feet. And I also incorporate the light into my treatments now because, well, for multiple reasons. It's soothing, it's detoxifying, it helps omit or emit the what we're always in front of, blue light and EMFs and all the things, right?
Yeah, it cancels out blue
Exposure.
light from LEDs if you have it, and it creates from a lighting perspective really optimal like human oriented light. So that's why it's so soothing and calming and grounding and
Grounded.
feeling good. It's a very nourishing spectrum that we're designed to get, normally from the sun every day. Most of the sun is in that firelight band of near infrared and red that we used to get every day. So you have it in your room to kind of create this to help like facilitate the effectiveness and the
Yeah.
calming and the
And
vibe.
then of course of being outside. And what I love about the photon light is that you can take it anywhere you want to go. So even in the salon, like on a gloomy day, I'll put it in there
Hmm.
for multiple reasons. But it's amazing to see people's emotions and how they first get to us and then when they leave, because I'm always diffusing essential oils, um, depending on what the mood is, but typically it's to just have a sanctuary, right? The outside is so noisy that I believe that where I work and spend the most of my time should be my sanctuary. So I've got the beauty of the photon light now. I diffuse essential oils. I've been using essential oils, I'd have to say probably since 2012, but I really didn't take a deep dive into getting to know them and the emotional and
Hmm.
physical support that they add to our daily routines.
Yeah,
Um,
let's talk about that. So this oil layering that you do. So yeah, we're definitely beings of light,
yes,
but really, if we zoom out even further, we're beings of frequency.
that's right.
And so we have in our mortal, our physical bodies, we have this olfactory
Yep.
sense. We can smell things,
Mm-hmm.
and essential oils, are so enticing. They're so exciting. They're so lovely, and there's so many of them. But also, I'd like you to speak to how different essential oils have an energetic influence on us, and how your understanding of that is used in this practice that you do called oil layering. And if you could also explain a little bit more, what is oil layering? What is that? What does a session look like?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. So, as you touched base on about frequency, everything on the planet has a frequency. We do, water does, well, even the oils do. So, after lots of testing, each oil has a different frequency and holds a different frequency. So, when somebody comes in and they're saying that they're struggling, let's say they have a cold or they're feeling really anxious, or maybe they're just really tired and their adrenals are taxed, I'll have them hop on the table face down, and I do the larynx on the spine and the feet. Well, our skin is the largest organ of our body. So with the application, about 20 minutes after the application, you could get swabbed in your mouth and they would find the constituents of the oils within your bloodstream, like within
Wow,
your saliva,
it goes systemic that fast. Wow.
because they speak to the body on a cellular level. And most people don't know that. So there's three
Mm.
ways to benefit from essential oils, and that's aromatic, topically, and internally. If it's therapeutic grade, I don't recommend internal when there's synthetics involved. I don't recommend synthetic use at all, but I have to state that out loud because not all essential oils are the same. So
Yeah.
when I chose to use doTERRA, just like all, your light is not the same as everybody else's because you put your
No, no.
special education
Yeah,
there.
it's
So
important to consider quality.
yeah, absolutely. Quality matters.
So you use the doTERRA brand?
Yes. So when they're on the table, I apply to the spine and feet because the feet have over 2,000 pores on them approximately. So it gets into the bloodstream very quickly. And then, of course, your spine is connected to your skull, which all that is into the neurological area of your body.
Mm-hmm.
So it just has massive impact with one, raising your frequency, and two, speaking to those cells on that cellular level. And the beauty about holistic and the power of therapeutic essential oils is that they kind of go up to the cell and they knock on it and say, hey, do you need me? And if not, you'll just excrete them out of the body later. But if you do, it's like opening the door and it goes in there and does what it needs to do because it's pure and potent. So that's really beneficial because we're filled with toxicity all day around us, what we eat, pesticides, things like that. Even in the hair industry,
Mm-hmm.
hair color, that kind of stuff, there are some toxic things, but you have to find harmony and balance because I'm not going to not get my hair colored, right? And even certain shampoos and stuff like that, read your labels. But the whole goal is to raise the frequency of the body, the wellness, the cells, and help detox impurities. And that's when we feel our optimal best, right? There is that small window of the detox process that isn't so fun sometimes, whether it be breakouts or just feeling kind of sluggish. But that's what I love to incorporate the photon light with, is that it helps with heating up that body temperature so that you can sweat and detox. Because how do we get rid of things?
Yeah, and it also does other things like structuring the water in the cells. That makes the water in our cells in our body more bioavailable, and
Mm-hmm.
so it can do its job better, which may be cellular function
Yep.
in the structured state. It may be using water in the liquid state for detox.
Mm-hmm.
But I love what you said about raising our frequency. We're beings of frequency. I've gotten into this a lot more as I've researched more about light therapy, about sauna, and so forth. Everything from the clothing you wear can be high frequency or low frequency, and
Yep.
and the lower the frequency of a person, the more that corresponds to being in a disease state, in a dysfunctional state. So we want to remove these toxins from our bodies because they're things that are sort of clogging us up and preventing us from being truly ourselves and our best and brightest version of ourselves.
Absolutely.
But it's not just the toxins, it's also the frequency we're holding. And there's so many ways to increase our frequency. There's all these great tools around.
Mm-hmm.
And essential oils is so interesting how powerful they are in doing this. So like, are there certain go-to essential oils that you always use, or like for someone who's a newbie in this, I know there's hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah,
Like,
it can
where do we start?
Overwhelming, definitely. I'll just share some of my few favorites and that I feel that are the most impactful. And because Valentine's Day was yesterday, I did want to cover rose.
Yeah. Let's talk about rose. I love the smell of rose.
And so rose is actually the highest vibrational oil on the planet, and it's connected to divine love as far as emotional frequency. So the place that I apply it every day, sometimes multiple times a day, depending on who I'm interacting with or even things going on in my own life. But it's just going to be right on the sternum, so right over that heart meridian.
Okay.
And that immediately, not only from smelling it, but after absorption right over our heart, is going to immediately raise your frequency because of how high frequency rose is. And love is second to highest in vibrational frequency. Enlightenment is the first, then love. So if it's already infused with that high of a vibration, why wouldn't you use it? Is kind of how I think of things. But that is definitely a go-to every day for me, no questions asked. And if we're all high vibing, then there would be way more love in the world, right? We're kind of,
Yeah, for sure. So we would all benefit from rose essential
yeah.
oil, and that's actually so that's the oil from the petals that's
Yeah, so they
extracted.
actually press the rose petals to get the oil. So it takes, I can't even remember how many million rose petals it takes to make one little bottle. That's why if it's pure, it's pretty expensive, but obviously it lasts over a long period of time because of its potency. But the process to get that oil is amazing. There's videos on it. So
Wow, that's fascinating. So
yeah, so
so yeah, so for a newbie, given that we're talking about Valentine's Day and self-love and
absolutely.
self-care,
Self-care,
rose essential oil is a great way to start, and we can put it on our body, but particularly if we put it on our heart, on our sternum, where our heart meridian is, where our heart chakra is, that's even more powerful.
super impactful. You can put a few drops in some Epsom salt and take a bath, and maybe put actually some rose petals in the bath.
Mm,
Remember, it's really high potency. That Epsom salt is going to pull out any toxins, but having the oil, it also absorbs the oil. So then obviously it'll get absorbed into the body. So it's kind of a dual purpose. You're raising your frequency and detoxing at the same time. Um, I don't diffuse rose oil that often, only because of the potency. That's why I like it right on the body, and then
hmm
you actually are raising the frequency. But yeah, self-love, self-care are huge, and it's something that most of us forget to do. We're taking care of, if you have a family, you're taking care of other people. If you're in a relationship, you're trying to take care of that person. And
hmm
if you're in a service oriented environment, um, you tend to try to take care of others as well. So it all starts with us. And
It does. And let's talk a little more about
yeah,
self-love, and particularly like you just mentioned detox. I'd like to talk about that. So Rose, self-love. Uh, what? How can you speak? How can you help us understand what essential oils we might want to use for detox and for immunity? Maybe those are two different things. I don't
yeah,
know.
it would
Let,
be too different, but absolutely, I would love to cover those. And even grounding. So, um, obviously I love the photon light, and eventually I am going to invest in a sauna, because I love
mm,
that you have the grounding mats in
hmm
there. But there is an oil called Balance, and that's their grounding blend, uh, which is great for kind of calming you down, getting you grounded. If you can't go outside, that's an excellent tool to rub on the bottom of your feet when
mm,
you're using your photon light. Or let's say you don't have your photon light and you only have Balance in your bag, just throw that on the bottom of the feet. Be specific with your big toes, because that's the reflexology point for brain, for head. So if you're in that anxious state and you need grounding, Balance on the bottom of the feet, big toes specifically. Make sure to just kind of press those big toes. That'll activate the reflexology point for your brain to calm down.
so yeah. So like if I was taking a plane flight and I'm really far away from
Yeah,
any ability to ground in a
right.
normal sense, you take this Balance essential oil and you put it on your feet and right where the big toe is.
Yep. Yep. And that'll really help ease anxiety, anxiousness. It'll send signals to the brain that you're calm, those types of things, which are really
And
impactful.
and can you tell us real quick like what's in the
So
Balance?
blue
What kind of?
tansy is the main constituent, which blue tansy is actually the oil of inspired action,
Oh,
which is why it's really key to put it on the big toe. And then there's a few other, like I gotta read it. I don't have them all memorized, but frankincense is in there, which is also known to act as a natural antidepressant.
Mm.
Blue tansy, like I said, blue chamomile, which is also very relaxing. Those that love tea, I love like my sleepy time blend with chamomile in there. And then osmanthus, that is also a calming oil for the body and nervous system. So even with that, like our nervous system is our driver, our unconscious mind is constantly recording. So it gets to the point when you use certain oils enough or every day, as soon as the body recognizes it, it then knows, hey, I smelt that. I need to calm down. I'm
Yeah,
safe.
so you can actually like train the nervous system. So
Mm-hmm.
once it understands it, I can get the neurological response in the body without even putting it on the body. I
Yep.
just smell it or maybe even hold it.
You can even hold it. I was just going to say that. So so if you don't want to offend people, I guess sometimes what I found is that people that are toxic or actually need an oil hate the smell of certain oils. So if you hate the
Oh,
smell
wow.
of it, you need it. That's what I've
Yeah,
learned through
interesting.
studies. So if you don't want to whip it out or you're not in a place where you can take your shoes and socks off and rub it on your feet, just hold it in your hand or your pocket, because even that the frequency is felt because it's so strong and pure. So you can hold it. It's the positive benefit, just like holding a cup of coffee, because it's so acidic, can lower your frequency. This is the opposite. If you carry
Mm.
it in your pocket or your hand, it's immediately going to raise the frequency of the body and the cells.
Wow, that's so interesting.
It is.
Yeah, so let's jump over in a little bit of time that we have
Yeah.
left. Let's jump over to immunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So my go-to for immunity is going to be On Guard, and that has a lot of heavy hitters. Melissa is probably my second. It depends on what it is. So immunity, as far as bacterial, is going to be On Guard. And then viral, like an antiviral, is going to be Melissa, which is also known as lemon balm oil.
Oh, lemon balm. Yeah,
Mhm.
I drink a lot of lemon balm tea actually.
Yeah, it's super beneficial. I use it a lot for if there's colds or anything like that, because obviously um, it's not a type of illness that you can take an antibiotic for, right? It doesn't serve the body the same way.
Hmm.
So immunity wise, those are going to be my top two, Melissa and On Guard. On Guard has clove in it, which is a very medicinal oil, and then it's got some citruses in there which help with mood. I believe there's a little bit of frankincense in there, so it is a blend, but that's a really heavy hitter with kind of kicking off those bacterial issues. And then of course Melissa's going to be more your antiviral.
Wow, so
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So um, this is obviously like way more than we can unpack right now. There's so
Right.
much and there's so many essential oils, but like, uh, would you like to either sum up or let us know um, your other pro tips that you might have for the use of essential oils for someone who's,
Who's new?
just at home
Yeah, yeah,
wanting
yeah.
to get into this? So we talked about a little ones for detox, for immunity. We talked about vibing up with
Mm-hmm.
Rose. Any other like pro tips from working with essential oils for so long?
Yeah, it really depends. You have to learn to listen to your body. And then there's certain
Mm-hmm.
tools that you can download or look up. Those are my go-to. Essential Emotions is probably one of my favorite books out there to kind of help. It correlates the emotion with the oil to help raise your frequency. And yes,
So this is a website
it's a
where we can.
book,
So it's a
and it's
book.
also an app.
So,
It's called Essential
so essential
Emotions.
emotions, and we can go on there and we can like look up an
And
emotion and then learn.
tell you what oil to pair.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the physical side, for physical ailments, my favorite book is by Oil Life, and they have a couple different versions, but that's going to give you tips and tricks and recipes for actual ailments. And it has a little bit of the mood boosting, but it's more to help you navigate through if you had the flu or a fever, those types of things, but also hormones. Anything you can really think of was going to be in that book as well. So that's a great reference. And then I do complimentary consultations as well. So feel free to reach out to me. You can send me a DM or anything like that, and you can kind of tell me what's going on, and I can give you some recommendations, either to purchase oils to help you through that, or you can pop in for an oil layering.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. So yeah, let's so tell everybody where they can find you. I know you
Yeah.
practice in Frisco, but you just said you also help people virtually.
Mhm.
So if I want to
Great.
work with Krista, like tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, on Instagram, it's Krista Wagberg. That's my handle. And then there is a link that brings up my link tree, and you can book a complimentary consultation. I even have a wellness questionnaire, which kind of helps us navigate where there might be inconsistencies within your body. And that's you telling me what's wrong, and then we find a solution. So there's no guesswork. It just allows for really crisp results, and then I can obviously do recommendations that way.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. I can't recommend Krista enough. She's so knowledgeable in the essential oil sort of area of
Yeah.
things, but also just as a practitioner, what you're doing, uh, I really enjoyed how impactful and how enjoyable the oil layering session was for me. I had never done that before.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought it was going to be more of like maybe just a typical kind of massage,
Right.
but it was it was very relaxing, very healing in an energetic and emotional sense. I was surprised at how much benefit I got to it,
Good.
emotionally and energetically. It was way more your unique incorporation of the essential oils in doing the body work and some of the emotional work that you did was
Absolutely.
incredible. So um, yeah, if you have an opportunity, if you're in the Dallas area, Krista's based there in Frisco, but
Yeah.
also we're going to put your link and your information and some notes about some things we talked about
Beautiful.
in this as we post it, so that everybody can find you and learn more and check this out. And thank you so much for your time. I wish we had like way more time to unpack this. Maybe we'll talk about it again some other time. But
I would love
wow,
that.
the
I'm
power
grateful.
of
Yeah.
essential oils.
Yes,
It's
it is.
incredible what you're doing and how much of a shift we can have in our how we feel and how we perceive things just by having these oils in our lives.
Well, and it just a small tip too, just to remember that they're gifts from the earth.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically distilled or pressed plant. That's all it is. And that's by design, right? The plants were put on here for a reason, to help us heal, to help us grow, to help us balance.
Absolutely. It's nature's wisdom.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're all about
Yep.
here at SaunaSpace too,
Yep.
is nature is the most wise, and we have so much that we can use and take advantage of right in front of
Yep.
us, and especially nowadays, everything, it's so easy to get rose oil where maybe 1,000 years ago it was really hard, not accessible. It's so accessible,
Yeah.
but we need guidance from people like you to figure out like where do we go about this in the information age. So thank you so much for coming on
Thank you.
and vibing us up with all of your knowledge and your lovely
Thank
presence.
you.
And yeah, we love you. We appreciate you.
I love you guys too. I am grateful.
Thank you so much, Krista.
Have
Take care.
an amazing day.
You too. Have an amazing day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.